In the days of King Nebuchadnezzar, when he ruled over a vast empire, the Israelites faced a grave threat. General Holofernes, the commander of the Assyrian army, had been sent by the king to conquer all nations who refused to submit. Holofernes, ruthless and arrogant, marched through the lands, destroying cities, enslaving people, and desecrating temples. His army was feared across the world, and no one could stand against him. Holofernes turned his attention to Israel. He camped near the town of Bethulia, the gateway to Jerusalem. If Bethulia fell, Israel would be defenseless. The people of Bethulia were terrified. Holofernes had cut off their water supply, and they were on the brink of surrender. The leaders of the town, including Isaiah, pleaded with the people to remain faithful, promising that God would deliver them. But the people's faith faltered, and despair spread like wildfire. In the midst of this turmoil, a widow named Judith emerged. She had lived a life of prayer and devotion after the death of her husband, dedicating herself entirely to God. Judith was beautiful, wise, and bold, and her faith in God was unshakable. When she heard of the leaders' plan to surrender, she was filled with righteous anger. "How dare you test God?" Judith rebuked them. "You say you will wait 5 days for his help, and if he does not deliver us, you will surrender. Who are you to set a time for the Lord to act? Do you not remember what he has done for our ancestors? He delivered us from Egypt, from the hand of Pharaoh, and from all who oppressed us. Do you think he has forgotten us now? No. He is testing our faith to see if we trust him." The elders were ashamed but remained silent as Judith continued. "Listen to me. I will go to the enemy camp, and the Lord will deliver Israel through my hands. Do not ask me about my plan. Trust in God, for he will guide me." Isaiah and the elders reluctantly agreed, though they did not understand what she intended to do. They prayed for her and asked God to bless her mission. Judith prepared herself for the task ahead. She removed her widow's garments and dressed in her finest robes. She adorned herself with jewelry, anointed her skin with perfume, and arranged her hair beautifully. She knew her appearance would be a weapon against the enemy. With her maidservant, Judith set out at night toward the Assyrian camp. When Judith reached the camp, the soldiers were struck by her beauty. They stopped her and demanded to know who she was. "I am a Hebrew woman," she said, "but I have fled from my people because they are doomed. They have angered God, and he has delivered them into your hands. I have come to offer you a way to defeat them without a single loss on your side." The soldiers, eager to hear more, brought her to Holofernes. When Judith entered his tent, Holofernes was captivated. Never had he seen such a beautiful and confident woman. "Who are you?" he asked, "and why have you come?" Judith spoke calmly and boldly, weaving her words with wisdom. "My lord," she said, "I am a loyal servant of God. The people of Israel have sinned, and God has abandoned them. I have fled because I have foreseen their destruction. But I know the ways of my people, their weaknesses, and their strengths. Let me remain here, and I will guide you to victory. Only allow me to go out each night to pray to my God, and he will reveal the time for your triumph." Holofernes, intrigued by her words and captivated by her beauty, agreed to her request. He ordered his soldiers not to harm her or question her movements. Judith was given free access to come and go as she pleased. Holofernes believed that she was on his side, but Judith's true loyalty remained with God and her people. Each night, Judith left the camp and went into the valley to pray. There, she cried out to God, asking him to strengthen her for the task ahead. She observed the Assyrian camp, noting their movements and weaknesses. She was patient, waiting for the perfect moment to act. After 4 days, Holofernes invited Judith to a feast in his tent. He intended to seduce her, confident that he had won her loyalty. Judith accepted the invitation, knowing that this was the opportunity she had been waiting for. Holofernes drank heavily, and his servants left him alone with Judith, believing he would have his way with her. But Judith remained calm, her mind fixed on her mission. When Holofernes was overcome with wine and fell into a deep sleep, Judith acted swiftly. She took his sword from its place and, with all her strength, struck his neck. The blow was clean and decisive. She severed his head and placed it in a sack. Judith and her maidservant left the tent and made their way back to Bethulia under the cover of darkness. When Judith returned to Bethulia, she summoned the leaders and revealed Holofernes' head. The people were astonished and filled with joy. Judith declared, "The Lord has delivered us. See what he has done through his servant. Rise up now, for the enemy is leaderless and defeated." The people of Bethulia, emboldened by Judith's courage and faith, launched an attack on the Assyrian camp. The soldiers, discovering Holofernes' death, were thrown into chaos. They fled in terror, and Israel was saved. Judith was celebrated as a hero, but she remained humble, giving all glory to God. She sang a song of praise, declaring his power and faithfulness. "You have crushed the enemy by the hand of a woman," she proclaimed. "Blessed are you, O Lord, who saves your people." Judith lived the rest of her life in peace, honored by all of Israel. Her story became a testament to the power of faith, courage, and the wisdom that comes from trusting in God. Through her, the people of Israel learned that no enemy is too great, and no situation is too hopeless when God is on their side.